Before winter sinks its teeth into our gardens, most gardeners do the same thing every year. Pull out the last of the dying plants, throw down a layer of mulch and call it done. Then they spend spring trying to revive soil that's lifeless, compacted and starving for nutrients. But the growers with the strongest gardens, the ones whose soil seems to wake up early with worms and life already rumbling, they're doing something very different right now. They're giving their soil a winter meal, because winter doesn't just freeze the garden above ground, it can freeze progress underground too. Bare soil becomes eroded, windswept, nutrient-poor and biologically silent. Microbes go hungry. Worms flee. Carbon escapes back into the air, but feed the soil before winter, and everything continues working during the cold months, slow and steady, so spring starts strong instead of in the negative. Here's the key. Living roots must remain in the soil all winter long. Nature never leaves soil naked. If there's bare earth anywhere on the planet, something tries to cover it. That's not weeds misbehaving, that's nature repairing a wound. When we clear our raised beds and leave them empty for months, the soil weakens. But if we plant fast-establishing winter crops now, the soil becomes more fertile every single week until spring. The best winter gardeners use either winter cover crops or a simple living blanket of cold-tolerant plants. You're essentially tucking your soil in with a warm blanket that feeds it from above and below. And here's where the magic really happens. Microbes and roots don't stop working in the cold. They slow down, but they never stop. Roots leak sugars into the soil, feeding entire microbe communities. Those organisms break down organic materials into bioavailable nutrients. Worms stay closer to the surface where roots provide warmth and food instead of diving deep to wait out the cold. When the freeze-thaw cycle hits, root networks help prevent compaction and preserve structure. By the time spring comes, you're walking into a garden that's been healing, building and feeding itself for months. Your soil holds more moisture, seeds germinate faster, transplants explode with early growth instead of sitting there, confused and stressed. So what do you plant right now? For raised beds or vegetable gardens, winter rye, crimson clover, hairy vetch or field peas do wonders. Rye is a powerhouse root builder. Clover fixes nitrogen. Vetch creates incredible organic matter. If you live in a milder climate, even mustards or arugula can serve as living soil armor. Scatter the seeds thickly, water once, and then walk away. That's it. The plants take over from here. If you don't want to plant cover crops, or you're working with small containers, use winter compost feed instead. Layer grass clippings, shredded leaves, and aged plant matter right on top of the soil. This cold season composting keeps the microbes fed without waiting for a full hot compost cycle. The biggest mistake gardeners make? Well, it's treating winter as a pause button. But, soil doesn't pause. It is always becoming better, or honestly becoming worse. Every day of winter without living roots is a day your soil loses ground, quite literally. But every day with life working quietly beneath the surface is a day spring becomes, well, just a bit easier. Skip the usual clean it and forget it approach. Feed your soil now, give it what nature expects, and let winter work for you instead of, against you. Your spring garden will thank you with the loudest harvest you've ever seen.